Into this world we're thrown.
Well, it's a Monday night over here at the Studio B. The B-Sides. B-Sides Studio. And it's the 31st day of March. It's the last day of Marchuary 2025. Tomorrow is April 1st, April Fool's Day. And, yeah, let me just make sure that the YouTube is up because the main episode for tonight was not selected in the restream when we went live, so I had to stop it and restart it. Okay, it's all good. The first one was a misfire. Don't worry about that. But welcome. It's a new week. It's a big week. This is the second to last broadcast of my 30s. And I just, I gotta tell you something. I'm not feeling too well tonight. I was thinking about, I know initially I had said we were not going to be on air tonight because I had to be at town hall to see about what's going on with the studio building and the fate over there, whether or not it's going to get knocked down and we have to just find a new place to set up shop, which ultimately would be a pain in the ass, but presents all new opportunities in itself. But that got pushed back a month till the end of April. So here we are. And I said, okay, well, we'll go live. We'll do some light topics. We'll take some calls. I just didn't feel too well, though. All day. It's kind of been nagging. And I think a lot of it is psychosomatic, to be honest. It's a lot of stress. It's between the ears, if you know what I mean. But whatever's between the ears usually makes its way down to the stomach. And that's where we are. But I just laid horizontal for the last half hour. And now I hear that there's a nice buzzing with my microphone. So I'm wondering if it is this brand new wireless keyboard that I have going on. Let me turn this off. Hold on. Check. Nope. No, it's just a buzzing. If it was the keyboard, that would have been great because then I can go buy myself a keyboard with a wire again and get rid of the interference and then everything will be fine. But maybe I can figure that out afterwards. It's always something, obviously. Always something. But tonight, ladies and gents, we're going to kick around some news. Hey, you know what? Good for everybody in Mississippi. Governor Reeves signs historic legislation eliminating Mississippi's individual income tax. Timothy Gordon must be really happy about that. The state income tax in Mississippi is gone. But for some reason, they still have no religious or non-medical exemptions for the jibby jabs. That's strange. Maybe they'll do that next and make Mississippi more perfect outside of potential storm impact zones and all that other stuff. But still, that's awesome. If you're in Mississippi, you must be happy. And I'm happy for you. What else do we have? I don't know. Actually, there's a lot on the calendar here. Let's see. Tonight, after the show, is the finale. Book club finale of The Big Fisherman by Lloyd C. Douglas. And that means that for April and May, we will have film club. And then we're back reading books again in June. I hope you guys are all ready to go in June because we got Charlie Robinson coming back on and we're going to be reading Mark Twain in the middle. Come on, it's going to be summertime. Reading Tom Sawyer. You got to read that with us in June. So yeah, become a sponsor and watch Alfred Hitchcock and whatever the hell else I have lined up for May. But you got to read Tom Sawyer in June. Jeez, let's go here. Let's go. Let's really take over the culture again. Start reading. That's what I say. Lauren and Aurora will be on with me tomorrow night in the studio. Lauren actually suggested that, which makes me think that something's up. It's usually I have to invite her. Lauren, I have an idea. What do you think about coming by the studio? But she said, me and Aurora, what if we all do the show together on Tuesday night? I said, sure, we can make that work. I wonder what she's up to. If she's up to nothing, then okay, less reason to be suspicious next time around. But we'll see what happens tomorrow night because Wednesday, my birthday, April 2nd, I will be off that evening. And actually, when the clock strikes 7:37 p.m. and I am officially 40 years old, I will be in Yankee Stadium, which will be a very appropriate place to be. I was surprised with that. Of course, she had to tell me because I was going to be doing the driving that night, So we haven't told the little one because that'll be her first time too, and that's all. It's gonna probably be a little chilly, Thursday is gonna be like 70, but I don't know about Wednesday night. Anyway, on April 3rd, we have Eric Perner. He is a regenerative farmer, and I wanted to combine him. I told Jay Gulanella last week, I said, listen, come hang out with me on Friday night. But next Thursday, I would love for you to come on with me for our Badlands syndication premiere and with this regenerative farmer, because it ties into other regenerative technology stuff that has been going on lately, especially the quantum computing angle with Microsoft and the so-called fourth state of matter. But the other thing there too is all of our Thursdays are really nicely stacked from here on in. I got some great landing spots for some calls and for some other big stories. Chrissy Mayer's coming back. Brandon Williams is coming back for a part 2 of the sovereignty and taxation thing. April 10th, Thursday, Jay Dyer's coming back to talk Esoteric Hollywood. He's got Esoteric Hollywood Part 3 coming out, so I wanted to do a little bit more of a movie breakdown with him. Mike Baldwin, he'll be coming by for some Spot Fridays again. We got the Rumble only Saturday night on April 12th. This is going to be good. Cultivate Elevate on April 17th. That's another Thursday. Methods is coming on for his first appearance ever in all the years we've known each other. Eric Hunley, America's Untold Stories. Oh man, there's so much. There's a lot. April is quite packed. It is quite packed, my friends. It is indeed. So that's what we have, and I hope that you're excited for it because I am. And there we go. Okay, so on to our grab bag tonight. What do we have? The first one up is from, what is this, Bill Maher? Bill Maher knows NPR and PBS are far-left radical outlets. You know it's bad when he can't even defend them, says Gunther Eagleman. Let me see. Let's go to the window capture and see what the hell's going on here.
NPR and PBS testified before Congress this week amid accusations of liberal bias. Should the government continue to send taxpayer dollars to public broadcasters? Well, a little background here. I mean, they've been after them the Republicans have wanted to get rid of PBS for as long as I can remember. This crowd will probably do it. I mean, I also read my namesake, Catherine Maher, was head of NPR, and, she said, we're completely unbiased. Give me a break, lady. I mean, they're crazy far left. So, I mean, I think we're past the age, really, where the government, first of all, why do we need to subsidize? Why can't we have outlets like this? And we're so polarized. These outlets became popular at a time when Republicans and Democrats didn't hate each other and weren't at each other's throats and didn't think each other was an existential threat. In that world, you can't have places like this, I think, anymore.
No, you can't. Well, I mean, you can, but you just got to go and do your own little funding drives. Now, the real question is, outside of what you put in a line item in a big omnibus package about what's going to NPR, what's going to PBS, there's other things, there's other ways that that money flows into these organizations that need to be cut off too. So there's end arounds. There's a lot of different things that, the principle is, constitutionally speaking, and now just practically speaking from a cultural standpoint, it's got to go. It's had to go for a very long time. I know there's a lot of people who just love NPR. It's their thing that they cozy up to at night. Their podcasts, their radio broadcasts, whether it's on Sirius or anything else or anything that they published on the internet. I don't know if they've ever been on press, like actual print or something like that, but it's got to go. And if they love it so much, then go subscription based. PBS doesn't even have, what was it? They sold off Sesame Street to HBO, right? Anyway, was Reading Rainbow on PBS? Where was that? You can call in with that later. What was your favorite PBS show? Call in with that later, because I want people calling in with all types of shit tonight. I just want to think about whatever. Let's just relax on a Monday night, shall we? Now, I didn't pay any attention to this next thing. I'm happy for it. But now this is ridiculous. I caught the Ashley St. Clair thing. I've seen her on Twitter before. Never knew who she was. And then, of course, this whole thing about paternity of a baby with Elon Musk popped up, and he's the dad. And I want, I don't know what work she does. I've never seen her anywhere. But just seemed like I hate to say it, another one of them thoughts. And I just didn't give a shit. But now when I see this, Elon Musk's baby mama, Ashley St. Clair, sells her $100,000 Tesla after he cuts child support in half. She says she has to sell her Tesla because he's cutting child support in half. Then I look into it because everything is right there. I think John Carroll dropped it into the Telegram. That's where I actually saw it. But Elon Musk, he commented on this on Twitter today, just a couple hours ago. He said, I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I'm not against finding out with paternity or whatever, but no court order is needed. He said he would do it. But despite not knowing for sure, take a look at this. He says, I've given Ashley $2.5 million and sending $500,000 a year. So what did he cut it down from, $1 million a year? And this woman can't live off of that? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Guys, zip it up, man. I'm telling you. Zip it up until you know she ain't going nowhere. Until you know exactly who she is. Can you imagine being, thank God this is as deep as I went with that whole nonsense. There are some channels out there who are like devoted to this kind of drama, and I just can't. I can't wrap my head around that. Or my stomach. Stomach can't do much of anything right now, to be honest. Here's another one that's got people asking questions, and that is Virginia Giuffre, or Virginia Roberts. Jeffrey Epstein accuser, one of the more famous ones, says she has just days to live now after she was hit by a school bus. This is crazy. I don't know who she posted this picture or whatever, but the most prominent victim of Jeffrey Epstein, who accused some of the world's most powerful men of sex trafficking, said she has just days to live after being hit by a bus. The mother of three, 41 years old, shared a battered picture of herself from a hospital bed covered in bruises. She said that she was suffering from kidney failure. This year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 60 miles per hour, as we were slowing for a turn, that no matter what car is made of, it will be like a tin can. I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialized hospital for urology. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. This is terrible. It's a terrible story. But you know what they say about wishes? Shit in one hand and wish in the other. I guarantee it's going to be shit at the end of the day. Thank you all for being wonderful people of the world and for being a great part of my life. So the exact location and circumstances behind the crash are unknown, but she's been in Western Australia with her husband. And, that's quirking a lot of brows today, but one way or another, just the announcement and the knowing and the waiting and the diagnosis and being conscious of the whole thing. It's a terrible, terrible story. And I guess you can take your pick on stories like that, right? But you can call in on this too. Comment on whatever you'd like. Those poor kids, 41 years old. I mean, what the heck? Anyway, that's a couple of things just to get things started here tonight. Congratulations to Mississippi. I guess that was the best of it all. And when we come back, we're just going to settle in for a night of open lines and some things I'm going to throw your way, including a story that came in from a viewer who just lost a very special friend of his, a dog that arrived in his life at just the right time. Another one of those stories of animals that save their masters in more ways than one. And I also know that we did this about 2 or 3 years ago, but I would like to open up the lines on that too, and bring in some of your stories of animals that saved your life, either physically or anything else. We'll talk about this when we come back. Don't go anywhere. In fact, please help me share the show farther and farther and farther and wider by hitting the share button wherever you're watching it. Doesn't matter if you're live or doesn't matter if you're watching after the fact. Get it out to people and hope they enjoy. Because if they don't, it's going to be on you. Because I am what I am. Popeye. That's the Popeye phrase.
I refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
Hey. That's right. It's raining over here. It's going to be raining all night. So I guess that makes it cozy. Oh, I had a terrible night's sleep last night. I think that's where this all came from. If you don't mind my just spilling a little bit, that's what the show was all about anyway. I had a wonderful evening. An unexpectedly wonderful evening. It was going to be good one way or another, but I didn't know that we were having company last night. And Lauren went and she pulled an It's a Wonderful Life last night. She really did. A Mary Bailey. And I thought it was just going to be me, Lauren, Aurora, my mom, and my brother. Just a nice quiet night. My father wasn't around last night, so we probably wouldn't have watched any Hallmark films, but she let me know a little bit later on in the day that, oh, no, we're actually going to have a couple people over for some coffee. I said, oh, man, there was more family and friends there than we had on Thanksgiving and Christmas combined, and it was such a wonderful thing. It was wonderful. I was a little overwhelmed, to be honest, and it was just a great night. I was very, very happy for it, and I do a lot of reflecting, I'm the type that does a lot of reflecting, even when I was very, very young. Okay. When I was 9 years old, about to turn 10, on my 10th birthday, I did a lot of reflection on how this was the end of the single digits for me. I was never going to be single digits again. That's it. 10 years old. I'm leaving single digit life behind. And that gave me a lot to think about. It actually, it actually made me a little sad. Of course, I brushed it off just fine, but the thought passed through my mind. So, reflections at 25 was pretty cool. 25 is a pretty cool number. That's a milestone. 30 is a milestone as well. 35 is not really a milestone, but 40 is a milestone. And I think I'm done with milestones. Let's just fuck it all. The hell with this stuff now. That was all nice. I think this is just going to be one big long year from now on. One big long year. We don't need any of this other stuff. because it's really just about what you're feeling and how are your knees. My knees feel fine right now. My hamstrings are sore. My shoulders are a little achy. I had a fucker of a workout on Saturday. I think that's part of it right now. I'm so sore from neck to calves that I almost feel like it's making me sick because there's so much damage I'm recovering from. But that's that first spring workout outside, real tough one, and we wrung it out, so it was good. It was good. I'll drink a couple of more liters of salt water tonight, and everything will be fine. Wasn't fine last night though. Took me until about 2:45 in the morning to get to sleep. Around 12:45 is when I said to hell with it. I'm going downstairs, and I just started playing. I started playing PlayStation and listening to the Rosary, and just breathed for a couple of hours. I finally went to bed, but it was messed up, and the dreams are all over the place, and it's the fast evaporating dreams as well. They're coming on hard, and they're coming on very random, but the memory of them evaporates so quickly. I wonder if you guys and gals are having any of this as well, because I'm not going to bed. I'm not going to bed inebriated or anything else like that. It's just there's something on that dream level that is kicking up again. It's very thick, the energy, and it affected me today. Aside from the fact that I'm probably just exhausted and adrenal fatigue. What do you want me to say with that? Who the hell knows? It's just one of them things. So I'm probably not going to drink coffee for the next 2 days. That'll be one little whatever. Hey, I'm going to wish somebody a happy birthday. That was yesterday, March 30th. Happy birthday to Wayne Smaldridge, who usually is hanging out there, chilling out in the YouTube chat. He turned 91 yesterday. You see Wayne in that chat room, say, Wayne, baby, happy birthday. 91. He's a 91-year-old chat room mod. So, there's that. But it was a very special evening for me last night, and yeah, that's that. Oh, you want to see something here? Here's something that's been cheering me up a lot lately. This is it's one of those, I think TerraClout, what the hell it is. These guys, it's very juvenile, but I think some of you are going to like it. They go into department stores and stuff, and they scream. Hold on a second. Let me get this out. Let me do it right now. All right. Give me a second. I've got them up. All right. So here they go into this guy's, I guess, washer, dryer, appliance store, and they start screaming for him. And they go into these stores maybe about rolling 6 or 7 deep. And they look like 18, 19-year-old kids. They're all over the stores, and somebody screams until they get in trouble. And then when they get in trouble, they get confronted by some of the people in the store. Somebody else screams at another part of the store to make the person that is trying to address all of this madness feel like they're going nuts or that they got the wrong guy. It's incredibly juvenile. And I can see this from Alan's standpoint. Alan is the name of this store owner over here. They must have gotten his permission afterwards. I can see Alan's standpoint too, but the reason why I love it is at the same time is, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but they're not hurt. Some prank, content creators out there are just actually awful, and they deserve the throat punches that some of them get. But this just reminds me of high school, being in biology class. Every time the teacher turned around, there was another sound, and then it got so bad, so brazen to the point where everybody was just screaming and slamming. There was no rhyme or reason to anything. It sounded like a Call of Duty lobby. It was horrible. But when I think back at it, my heart just swells with happiness, and I know that all my teachers were just horrified. We ruined their lessons, and it was bad. Kids, we talk about, the kids that are really bad. I'm sure that there's a whole new set of problems, but we're all bad at that age to some degree. And the fact that we were all just, I wonder how much worse it would have been if we had girls in the classroom with us. Maybe a little bit less worse. I think girls are a little bit more prone to narc on you, to tell the teacher this is who was doing it. But if you're in a classroom full of guys in high school, you just kind of like egg each other on, and nobody wants to be the rat bastard. So things get really bad. At least that was the way it was for me. The Archbishop Stepinac High School in White Plains. That's the way it was for me. Oh, I got stories. I always tell my friends from high school, you guys come on with me on a Saturday night? Let's just talk about high school stories. Incredible. Anyway, here are these kids. Here are these kids calling for this guy Alan, and you'll see how this goes.
Alan, I need some help. Out.
What?
Out. Whoever's yelling at me.
No, I wasn't yelling at you.
Guys, I don't know what the deal is, but I don't like it. Get
no,
out.
what are you talking about? I was interested.
Seven of you guys here.
I don't know.
19 years old.
I came in by myself.
Why are you shouting?
That wasn't me. Check the cameras. If you have some, I wouldn't shout like that. See? You see? They're calling you.
You're shouting Alan.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Okay, this is real funny.
Know that I wouldn't have done that. I came in first. I was already interested. I don't know any of these guys.
There's somebody shouting that I can't see.
Can I buy that washer?
No, get the fuck out of the store right now! Out!
Me?
All you, get the fuck out of the store!
Alan, that last Alan, poor guy. He has every right to kick these bastards out. He has every right to kick them out. But that last Alan killed me. It killed me. Hold on.
I need some help!
Can I skip ahead to it? No, I can't skip on these damn things. Oh man, that last Alan got me. I'm gonna have to clip that out. Alan. That made me feel better. And I was looking through other ones, and every once in a while they pop up, and I had a good time with it. You can talk about all of your childish experiences and things like that. I guess this would have been good for April 1st, tomorrow. In fact, maybe that's what I will do. I'm going to make this start April Fool's, and I'm going to have that start for tomorrow with some other things that I'm going to bring up. So you call in, there's something else I can give you. Okay, I'm happy. One other thing I want to throw your way, and we're going to open up the lines right now. Sleep studies. Since I was talking about sleep, I was talking about my real hard problem last night with getting to sleep, staying asleep, and then finally, after I fell asleep around 3, it was fine. But then, then what are you going to do? You stretch it. You stretch sleep to 8 o'clock, and then you're still only 5 hours. And for those of you who are used to doing 5 hours, fine. But I've been in like that 6 hour zone, so I've been trying to. 6 hours been good for me. Sleep studies, though. Talking a little bit about this morning on the coffee stream, and I want to know if you guys have ever had a sleep study done on you, and where you sleep in one of those rooms, they got the electrodes hooked up to you, and they have the camera on you all night, and you're taking, and it doesn't have to be just about like apnea or something like that, but maybe it's about sleepwalking or something else. And let's even expand this out beyond any kind of a study that is being done formally at a clinic. Have you ever caught yourself doing something in your sleep, even with like a ring cam in your own house that you took a look at, you watched yourself sleeping, and you did something that either weirded you out, freaked you out, made you laugh, something? Because I don't ever want to watch myself sleep, to be honest. I don't know what the hell I'm going to. I mean, according to Lauren, not that every once in a while I'll hoot. I'll let out a hoot or something like that. Hoot a little bit. But I'm not, swinging my arms or getting up. Now, we've had some of your stories come in when we were talking about sleep divorce and how you're sleeping in different rooms and different beds if you're married. Nothing as bad as that, where some of you have gotten beaten up by your sleeping spouses. But I'd like to know a little bit more about what you guys have going on there. Do you ever notice anything on that end? Let's take a call. 703, you're on the air. What's going on, Jules?
Hey, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I will. I guess we have that you're not feeling well. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry about that. But
No, it's all right.
and here's a happy early birthday
Thank
wishes.
you. Thank you, Jules.
I sent you a card, and you're gonna love it.
Oh,
Anyway,
great.
I had a story of what we did to a kid in high school once, Catholic high school, and there was a kid in the back of the class. I sat back there with a couple of people, and the kid was asleep on his books. Like his books were stacked up on his desk, and so he had his head just resting there, but he had glasses, and so the teacher really couldn't see if he was asleep or not. But we figured it out. So I drew, I shouldn't blame anybody else. You know how if you bore down really hard on a piece of paper, you could actually like cut it? Like,
oh, yeah.
You could, yes. Okay. So as I said, this kid had glasses. So what I did is I made like two big eyeballs with like the things shooting out of them, and we hung them on the front of his glasses so that when he woke up, that's what he was looking at. He also had tilted over a little bit, so I drew a great big long tongue and put a little lip at the end of it, and somebody else like stuck him on there, and then somebody tapped him, and of course when he opened his eyes, he ripped his glasses off. He's like, so he made a whole bunch of noise. And I mean, the rest of us were like, oh, I don't know what's going on over there. And so he got in trouble. The teacher's like, James, what's all that commotion back there? He's like, I'm trying to sleep and they won't let me.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work. That's going to work.
I know, I couldn't believe it. And yes, I got narked on. A bunch of us, or somebody brought in liquor, and we put it in our Cokes at lunch. And one girl that I'd known all through, elementary school and high school, she's like, went up to the principal.
Oh, of course.
Do you believe? Yep, they're drinking. So
of course.
My parents got called, and the only thing my dad said, my mom goes, she's very, very sorry, Philip. My dad goes, yeah, she's sorry she got caught.
Yeah. Well, Jules, every time you call in with a new story, I'm like, Jules was a bad little girl.
I was. Oh, and I've told you other stuff via, emails or whatnot. I'm sure you're reading them like, oh my
Well,
Lord.
yeah, because whenever you can't call in when we have a topic like this, you just really submit them through email. Like, okay, I'm building a dossier on Jules over here. Well,
Lord.
Well, thank you for
Lord.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry you got narked, but you learn the hard way. That's just the way it is. You can't trust everybody around you.
Yes, somebody is always going to tell, but just having that other kid get in trouble, he's just trying to sleep, and
that's it. Well, you know what?
The rest of us.
That was the best part. Best part of Catholic school for us, and thank you for the call. Some of us were able to get away with some really good sleeping. I remember there were some times we would go into some lecture halls, and they would put on a movie for us or some sort of a documentary or something. And the teacher would be just busy at work. Like, obviously, they just needed 45 minutes to get some work done. And they were up at the classroom, and they're scribbling away, not paying attention to anything. And most guys, because, we had the dress code. And during the spring, fall, and summer, spring, fall, and winter, when it was a little bit cooler outside, you can wear a jacket, like a sports jacket kind of a thing. Or you can wear a sweater, whatever the hell it is. But those of us who had the jacket, man, you take that thing off, you throw it right over your head, and you just put your arms and your head in your arms, and you go to sleep right on the desk, and it is cozy, absolutely cozy, comfy, cozy, man. I'm telling you, it's great. It was good stuff. Let's take a call from Dean. Dean, how are you? Have you ever had? You seem like a guy who's had a sleep study done on him.
No. I avoid that shit.
Okay.
No, I drive a truck, so I got to get DOT tested. They've been big on that for a few years now. They're trying to get drivers going for sleep studies. They're afraid they're gonna pass out behind the wheel or some shit. But no, man, it's just he just drilled. Do you have trouble sleeping? Do you feel rested in the morning? Do you snore? And blah blah blah. You answer the questions right. They just leave it alone. I'd rather not do that. I'm like you. I don't want to be watched sleeping.
Don't want to be scared.
Fucking creepy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, my whole thing, My whole thing is I can imagine people who never thought that they had anything going on for them at night, and then all of a sudden they suspect something happens where they suspect something, and they have to set up a ring cam or something in their room, and the next day they go and they look at their first night recording themselves sleeping, and they realize that they just unconsciously stood up and walked out the door and did something in the house completely unconscious. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, and I can see that in situations where you got a sleepwalker, that shit can be dangerous, dude.
yeah,
I mean, I can see that, but if you have, we have nights where we don't sleep well. You have a certain kind of day, or you got sick children, or whatever it is. You got something on your mind. But then, most of the time, I get great sleep. So
Good.
it's like it's just retarded. What is you want me to detail? We want me to say no, not always, and then now we got to come bring you in for a sleep study. It's going to cost 30 fucking grand, and I'm like, no,
yeah,
I'm not a sleepwalker, so I try and avoid that shit.
I get what you're saying.
So Frank, the reason for my call is
Yeah.
I know tomorrow is April Fool's Day, all right, and I don't have time to sit down and aggregate information like many of you guys do, but I saw at least 2 posts on X today that said some shit about that Malay guy is going to release documents from Argentina,
Yeah, I saw it.
proving that Adolf Hitler escaped the fucking Argentina, lived 20 years, and had 2 daughters. Is that shit true, or is this an April Fool's thing that just caught my attention?
I don't. If it's April, I don't know if this is going to be. It depends if it's. Is it? That's a very sensitive thing to April Fools anybody about. So I'd have to imagine that it's being taken seriously. And
but you saw it too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw what was the unredacted podcast.
I don't remember what the post. It was when I was in the doctor's office earlier. It was when I was just sitting there waiting, and I just saw him, and it was like right when the doctor walked in, so I didn't get a chance to read it. But yeah, it was something like that. It was from a podcast.
Listen,
sure.
I never believed that there was a that he died, but that he shot himself. I always believed the escape theories. I mean, whether you say it was a combination of midnight flights and also U-boats to Argentina. I mean, hey, and this is why I want to get someone like Robert Sepper back on the show, because this is there's a very interesting diaspora out there in Argentina, not only German but also Italian. But of course, the Italian thing was before the war as well. But this has long since been a rumor that he spent at least 20 years in Argentina, died sometime in the 60s, had 2 kids, and that this was in some way tied to Operation High Jump right after the war, when Admiral Byrd went down there to have some kind of a high-tech confrontation with a stay-behind Nazi force, high-tech Nazi force or something and that we came hobbling back with. So I would love to get a great guest on. I always, Robert Sepper, I think, would be the perfect guy to talk to about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've always leaned towards that. Yeah, this guy was so full of himself. There ain't no way he's gonna just off himself and call it a day. But yeah, and that thing also said it was with the help of the United States and its allies. So there you go, CIA shit, whatever. But yeah, I saw that, and I didn't have time to read up on it and figure out if it was bullshit or not or what. But I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah,
I had a minute.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't have my own dossier over here. It's just been something that I've been inclined to believe, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's just not unbelievable. So I've had a lot of fun with that one over the years, and the fact that this came out today, I don't know. Something tells me that if anybody's going to mention this, it's not going to be attached to some kind of an April Fool's joke, because it's just too sensitive of a subject. And so I guess we'll see. Did you see anything about the release date? Is it tomorrow?
No, I didn't see the release date. All I said was that Javier Milei is going to release documents proving that Adolf Hitler escaped with the aid of the United States and its allies to Argentina, lived another 20 years, and had 2 daughters in that time. And that's all I saw. And when I went to click on it to read up on it or listen to the blurb from the podcast it was on, It was like right when the doctor had walked in, so I
Okay.
just shut it off and put my phone down, so I didn't get a chance, and I just got home. So
All right, so it's the
that's where
redacted.
I'm at.
It's called the Redacted podcast, and the Redacted podcast. That's with Clayton Morris. That's what I was thinking about here. Let me play this clip here, and we'll see what people say about this. Thanks for the call, Dean.
Yeah, absolutely, Frank.
Have a good one. Thank you so much for being on. All right, here. That's 14 minutes long. Let me just get to the shortened clip. Where the hell's the short one that I saw? Hold on. I just want to get to this. I saw it, re-uploaded a couple of times, but I just want to do from their particular. I guess I'll just have to play it no matter what. It's theirs. So, Clayton Morris and Redacted podcast. Listen to this.
Didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin.
All right.
People know this story and who have studied the subject know that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin as the Red Army closed in. I think that's. We all know that was a fabricated story, or if you watch the show, you probably understand that. Hitler actually fled Germany weeks before that using a group of underground tunnels that led to an airstrip. And that airstrip was flown. He was flown from Berlin out. It took submarines and multiple submarines that were used, U-boats that were then sent to Argentina. In other words, Hitler lived for nearly 2 decades more in Argentina, along with vast numbers of the Third Reich. Well, now Argentinian President Javier Milei has just ordered the release of all remaining documents on all of those Nazis who fled Germany and moved to Argentina after World War II. Basically, it was almost like a second base of operations in Argentina. If you're not familiar with that, like basically the Third Reich operated out of Argentina and Germany. And many of them, including Adolf Hitler, lived in Argentina well after 1945. Most people know that Hitler lived out his days in Bariloche, Argentina, until he died there in the mid-1960s. Yes, you can read the CIA documents about this. The FBI documents also about sightings of Hitler in this area. They knew about it. Of course they knew about it. It was largely facilitated, I think it's safe to say, by the United States and its allies. Operation Paperclip, anybody? Quid pro quo?
Also, if you look into this, the skull that is held in Russia that was supposedly the remains of Adolf Hitler with a bullet wound in it is female.
Yeah.
So when you look for proof,
See, I didn't even know this skull existed, but I would never have believed it was Hitler's skull one way or another.
proof that Hitler did in fact kill himself in the bunker, you are going to find a lot of dead ends.
Yeah, and all you need to read, you can read a great book on this called The Gray Wolf. It's a great book. There's many books written about this now. But yeah, the skull, the fragments, they ran the DNA tests on it, and the Soviets allowed them to do this testing. And even Stalin openly talked about that Hitler lived, that he was not there. So Stalin even knew about it. It's widely known in Argentina, by the way, well known, that Hitler sired 2 children while he lived in Argentina.
And there you have it. I also saw some other things today that RFK and the chemtrails, geoengineering, any kind of like on the books programs and whatever. So I mean, if that's really going to come under the microscope, that'd be incredible as well. So we'll see. We shall see. Are we going to get some incredible Hitler news as well? JFK to Hitler. It never stops. 618, you're on the air. What's going on, Gene?
Well, Frank, this is a weird concept.
What?
The whole Hitler having 2 daughters, siring 2 daughters. There are prophecies out there that say I know this is crazy, but there are prophecies out there that actually say that the Antichrist, or whatever you want to call him, you know how they have different names for him, has a German descent. So maybe one of his daughters is actually going to be the mother of the man. Okay, bad joke, but I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
Well, hey, the first thing I would want to know is, and I guess this would be a very closely guarded state secret, almost like the bloodline of the Merovingians. Who's the offspring? Definitely not using the last name Hitler. So what is it? Actually, I knew the name at some point there too. I maybe Clayton Morris actually said it there. I forget, but this has not been a major point of conversation for me for a while. Yeah,
not recently.
So we'll see.
I know.
And
I just
go ahead. Sorry.
it was just the first thing that hit my mind when he said he sired 2 children or 2 females, and it's like, well, they're supposed to be German descent in the Antichrist, so hey, maybe Hitler's still involved.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of yeah. Well, the Antichrist. We will see. That would be. See, that'd be the next thing. You want to talk about people saying that the JFK files, Epstein, and the whole Binder Gate and all that stuff, those are all distractions. What would be this all these years later? Oh, by the way, Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Europe. That really would not be very controversial at all, if you ask me. I think most people go, no shit. And others would just say, no, it's not true. Not true. I don't know. You know, I have allowed myself to reshape everything that I see about World War II. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot of amazing individual stories. There's a lot of stories of valor, as there is in any war. But of course, what started it? Who's directing it? Where? They say the first casualty of war is the truth. Man, oh man. You think about the truth that has been murdered in the later aspects of the war too. And all these years later, what purpose would this serve? You know, what's holding Argentina? How is this holding Argentina back from moving forward? I'm all for disclosure. I'd love to do it. And again, I'd love to have a guest on to talk about it, but I saw that today. Yeah, no doubt. All right. King, what's going on, man?
Hey, first of all, I wanted to wish you an early happy birthday on the air since you ain't going to be on for your birthday.
Thank you, brother.
I would like to do that. Hey, not a problem, brother. You also realize, turning the big 4-0, you're right around the same age I was, more or less, when we first met.
I know. It's crazy.
It's not.
It's not, dude.
Imagine how old that makes me.
You met us. I graduated from college in 2007. In May of 2007 or something like that, and I think that I don't know. You must have started watching the show sometime around the same time. Around the same time. So
when did you start streaming? Around 06?
06. We started at the school for the.
Okay.
We started at the school earlier on in 06. We started in February. And then by May, we had found a way to bring it home, but we weren't doing video until July 7th, 2007. Yeah, I'll go into that. Yeah.
Well, that would have made me early 40s. Wouldn't make me 40 exactly, but it would have made me early 40s.
2007. So then that means you didn't start watching the show probably until later that summer or early fall 2007, because you found us on when we were doing video first, right?
Right, yeah. It was video first, yeah. So if that was 07, I would have been like, I think 42 or something like that, 42, 43.
Yeah. I know.
Right around there.
You watched us grow up. We're fresh out of college.
I did. I'm going to be 60 in June.
Wow. Yeah, well, we're going to have to celebrate sometime soon. Everybody has big milestones coming up. Milestones for friendships, for the country, 250 years next year. There's so much going on.
Yeah. Hey, too, I would just like to say respectfully to your wife, to Lauren, as far as the studio appearance there. Lauren, when you and your daughter go in there, you better behave. You understand that? You behave, you don't act up, and you don't give Frankie a hard time. I mean that.
Can you imagine?
I'm just fooling around.
Oh no! It would be Aurora. Aurora's the unpredictable one. Lauren and I, we can host our own couples podcast, and we would do just fine. It's Aurora she's the wild card. God knows what she has ready to go. Oh, my.
Well, you behave, little one. You understand? You behave. You don't disrespect your father.
Thank you. Thank you. You hear
No
that?
problem.
She's probably maybe she's listening. Who knows? She's not in bed yet. It's only 10 to 7 or 10 to 8. But thank you.
Could I give you?
Go ahead.
Could I give you a pet story real quick?
Yeah, please.
Because you were talking about pets that saved lives or who you was close with or whatever.
Yeah.
Won't take me long at all. So years ago, I adopted a German Shepherd from a breeder. She was retiring. She was about 9 years old when I got her. We had like a 5-year relationship before she passed. Funny story about her, my German Shepherd. I took her out for a night walk one night, about 11 o'clock at night. And we were coming up the block, and there was like about 4 spickaroos standing on the corner, right? And we were probably about 20 feet away, you know what I mean? And as we got closer, you could hear them talking, and it was in their little language there. And we got within about 5 feet of them, and all my dog needed to hear was that language, and she lost her mind and lunged at them and started barking ferociously. And they got fucking scared, and I had to pull her back, and I was like, Jada, back, no. And as soon as we got around the corner, I was like, good girl. That's a good girl.
What? Jada, what a name.
Yeah, Jada. I didn't give it to her. The breeder did. But yeah, my dog, no, get these illegals out of here.
Okay.
You're in America, you speak English. That's the point of the story. She heard Spanish. She heard Spanish. She lost her mind.
That was just
a beautiful thing.
That was just Jada's genetics as a guard dog. Wanted to guard wanted to guard the country. You're right. Okay, well that's great.
All right.
Hats off to Jada. Rest in peace, girl.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, take care.
You too.
There you go. If we had a couple of Jadas at the southern border, then everything would be fine, right? Okay. All right. What else do we have? Oh, did you see the new mug? Take a look at the new mug. It's up on the website right now. QuiteFrankly.tv. Wherever you get the coffee, the mugs are available for purchase there too. And once we get 35% of them or so sold out, we're ordering another batch of 100 because these are handmade and they always sell out and usually around, I don't know, we're way too far along and we don't put the order in and there's these big gaps of having no mugs. And this is the 2025. It's so sleek looking. You got to go get it. Let's see here. Take a call from 814. You're on the air. Do you have any weird sleep stories?
No, not sleep stories, but I had a story about an animal.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Crystal.
I was delivering packages with a friend probably about 5-6 months ago, and the weather was not that great. I was like in Jamestown or Northeast Pennsylvania or in Jamestown, New York. I'm not sure which one it was, but I was driving slow because there's a lot of ice. So I was still going down a hill, and I look over, and next to me, probably about 50 feet or so, was a hawk just gliding down the hill, like almost directly at my height, and it was beautiful. I almost probably rode off the road because I wanted to stare at the hawk. It was a wonderful thing, nature. I couldn't stop looking at it.
Oh, so just a wonderful nature story you wanted to leave us. It didn't save your life from a bigger predator or something like that.
No, it almost made me drive off the road. Actually.
Oh, okay. So it almost killed you. So it actually almost killed you. Okay. Well,
it was beautiful. This is the first time calling. Want to say hi to everyone in the chat.
Well, you did great, Crystal. I hope it's not the last time. Okay.
All right, thank you.
There you go. So Krista, very creative, turned the entire premise on its head. I saw a beautiful hawk one time that actually almost killed me. Instead of saving me from some sort of a mountain lion, a mountain lion was just about to rip my face off, wrench my head off. And this hawk came down and gouged its eyes right out. I'll always remember that hawk. As it left, it winked at me. Okay, 7:56. We're doing pretty good. So yeah, we have that. I'd like to hear some sleep study stories. If you ever watched yourself sleep and see yourself do something very weird. Oh, yeah, I'll have another one of those clout things. Here, let's go. Hold on. Let's do another call. 727, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
I'm doing well. Who's this?
This is Chris, first-time caller.
Welcome, Chris. It's good to have you on. So what do you got for us tonight? Is it a I was saved by an animal story? Is it I have a weird sleep story? What is it?
It actually goes back to being pranked in high school.
Okay.
And just, I'm a little bit older than you, but still kind of the nostalgia of it. And it's just brought back a really fun memory. And it was, I think, world history class. And we had a pop quiz. And somebody nearby, everybody was passing around a cheat sheet. So here we are passing the cheat sheet all around, and we come in the next day, and most of us in this seating area, we all had our names on the chalkboard. So we come in and we see our names, and we're all looking at each other, and the teacher comes to the front of the classroom. She's like, everyone on the board, you all picked the same exact incorrect letter on the pop quiz. It was like the multiple choice only went up to L, and we picked a letter beyond that. That wasn't an option. So it was a total give that we were all cheating on the same question.
This is a rookie mistake, by the way.
Very much so. It's probably 10th grade.
But, it's one of those things that is actually kind of tricky there, too, because let's say that you can vary. Let's say everybody's answers were varied.
Right.
It's one of those things where you can still get caught by everybody just having one very specific error on one specific question that would give the whole thing away. That would just indicate there has been some kind of coordination on this.
Right. And she laughed at us. I mean, she was like everyone's favorite teacher, and she just had the biggest grin, and we were all embarrassed and laughed at each other. And we just gracefully had to accept the fail that day.
Oh, good. Oh, well, good on her to have a laugh, but you also accept the consequences. And you know what? It's always a lot easier to accept those consequences when you do it as a group.
Right, exactly. It was like, we had a little bit of company, and we just finished the class, and it just always left an impression on me, like, what a dumbass.
Yeah, well, we're kids. We're kids.
Well, thank you so much. I love the show. I love your family.
Well, thank you. And I love the call. And that took me back to, that's all I want to do right now is go back to those little moments where you're just saying, I can't believe we did it. But we did. Like the senior prank. Our senior prank wasn't that bad. Everybody just released like 1,000 bouncy balls or something. It was all over the locker rooms. The senior prank of the class before me, when we were juniors, was actually pretty great. The senior prank was the kids. Well, then they got into a lot of trouble. They bought 2 live chickens, and they tagged them, they numbered them, and they released the chickens. One chicken was tagged number 1, and the other chicken was tagged number 3. And they just released them, and everybody's running around. They say they found one. That's 1. They found 1 that's 3, and now everybody's looking all over the place for number 2 that never existed. Which is good, which is nice if everything works out that way. You're still running a risk, but one of the chickens died of a heart attack, and I remember that entire class was about to lose their prom if somebody didn't step forward. And I'll tell you, it's just one of those things where, with guys, I mean, maybe somebody on the drama club will rat you out or something like that. Somebody that has some kind of a gripe, and they're just like, it was him. No, I don't give a shit. He's made my life horrible the last 4 years or something like that. But, usually this is when you have hushed tones. It's like, yo, you better say something. You better say something. And, everybody else, shut up. Shut up. I swear to God, shut up. Say something. We're not going down with you. Say something. You should do a lot of grumbling. You know that in hushed tones, everybody's trying to work out how the hell this is going to go down and who's going to take the blame because we're not all good. This is not happening. But that was interesting. That was interesting. The whole senior class was like in the auditorium for like a week until somebody confessed. They were allowed to go home, of course, but when they came back the next day, it was right into the auditorium. All right, let's go. Let's go on a really quick break. When we come back, more of your calls, and I want to read this thing. I want to read to you a little something on the dog that we're memorializing tonight that brought back this this particular topic that's sharing time with all the other ones. But thank you for spending time with me on a Monday. We will be right back, my friends. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Intermission. Intermission.
Let's go to the super chats. Quite frankly, superchat.com. Jay Britt says, happy birthday week, Frank. In honor of your 40th birthday, of your birth 40 years ago, I treated myself to a 2025 Quite Frankly mug today. You're welcome. Oh. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I really do. And I hope that over the course of the next 10 years, if we do a different one every year, make a little... I don't know how we're going to be able to top this one. It's just so sleek looking. But then again, I really love the 2024 version. I just think it's going to be a really great collection of top-notch assault mugs because they're great quality. You can really knock somebody out with it. So, thank you. All right, over on Rumble. Rumble is hopping tonight. Good to see everybody having a good time. Let's see. Jay Semo says, happy birthday week, Frank. Day one. Enjoy. Yes. Day one. Thank you, Jay Semo. And then Tommy Jekyll says, okay, Frank, place an order for 2 of the new, Quite Frankly, matte finish coffee mugs. Christmas will be here before you know it, for me anyway. Probably not you. No. It'll be here for everybody so quick, man. It's just so much. It's so much moving. And again, it's because there's no time to be bored. It's no time to be bored. A year seemed like an eternity when you were a kid, at least when I was a kid. I know many of you thought this, partially because a year represented such a huge portion of your life, overall life lived. If you're 8 years old and you think about a year, you think about 1/8 of your life. So, I mean, that's just it. That is the timeline against which you measure all of existence, your consciousness. So a year is forever. And then, of course, there was just so far less to do. So you had to just be crafty. All right, over on quitefrankly.tv, Paulie9363 says, Hitler's daughters are Angela Merkel and Gina Haskell. Everyone knows that. Really? Merkel and Haskell? I did not know that. Delona, thank you so much for the ship, my friend. Rival696 says, hey, Frank, can you please wish my son Nathan a happy birthday today? He's finally a teenager, the big 13. Thanks, Gendry. Happy birthday, Nathan. Happy birthday. 13, that's a big one. It sure is. The Sentinel says, have the best birthday ever. I love the new Quite Frankly mug and picked up 2 for Molly and I. Paige takes good care of us at, Paige is fantastic. And here's the other thing. I'll announce it tomorrow when it's officially April, but we have 8 to 10 or so our last album that me and the guys actually put out and we had pressed. I remember picking that up in 2017 or so, driving all the way down to like Camden, New Jersey. and picking up a box of those CDs. And I have about 8 to 10 left. I wonder if Derek has any too. But Sky Goes On, pressed, and of course shrink wrapped and all that stuff. So I'm going to give those to like the first 8 or 9 people who become sponsors at a certain level or whatever. I'll figure that out. But also all throughout April, we're going to be giving away sample packets of the coffee. And also we're just going to put sample packets of the Keto Brainz in there again too, because why not pair the two up? Not only that, but Paige at the coffee company said that whoever signs up as sponsors and gets these sample packets, she's also going to send away the chocolate covered espresso beans as well, just because she wants to be able to get rid of the stock before it gets hot outside and these things are going to melt in the mail. She figures that she can get away with it in April and it'll be good, and then we'll be ready to, she always dolls it up with other things. Paige does. Always. There's always goodies in there. Always notes and stickers, assorted stickers, all types of shit. So it'll be a good month, no doubt. Thank you, Zoso Dudes. Has got to wish Joe Elaine a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Joe. And thank you, Smeeze, for the shades. Okay, so listen to this. This is from Paul. And I want to just throw this up there because I thought it was very nice, and it inspired some of our topics tonight. Frank, this is beyond bizarre for me, but I feel compelled to share. Several years back, I overstayed my welcome in Afghanistan. I was injured and I returned to the States. While walking with a friend by the river, I saw what would turn out to be an angel, a dog. About a year old, I guess, the picture-perfect poster representative of an Australian dingo. He was beat up and in very bad shape, skinny, hungry, ticks, fleas, worms, foobar, but alive. I got him to belly crawl to me. I gave him a piece of last night's pizza and got him in the truck. He clanged to me like he was drowning. My friend kind of laughed and said, "Bro, I hate to break it to you, but that is your dog now." Well, I took him home, vet visits, a lot of shots, good food, and he was on the mend. I had no intention of keeping a dog. I had been on a constant deployment cycle for years and no place in my life for a pet. I just thought I would get him cleaned up and make him attractive for a good family. It turned out that my injuries would require several surgeries and I would not be returning to deployment status anytime soon, if ever. We named him Joey because he would sit up on his hind legs like a Joey kangaroo. Joey became so much more than a service, emotional support dog. He was with me constantly for 11 and a half years. Without delving into esoterics, I have no words to speak of how Joey helped me in ways I never even knew I needed help. In short, he was the rescue dog that rescued me. Last week, Joey took badly ill. I took him to the vet and was told that he had infections of some sort and antibiotics would fix him up, but it did not. And Friday night, just before midnight, we lost Joey. The void is unspeakable. Crazy request. And I got I've got this here. I've got to show. Where the hell is he? Come on now. I know I have a picture here somewhere. I want to put it up on the screen. I couldn't have misplaced it. Could I have? Oh, here we go. Here we go. What a good boy. Let me get out of the way so I don't ruin this picture. That's Joey and Paul. A crazy request. If I am overstepping, please disregard. But if you could speak his name amongst the Franklies, it would mean a lot to me. No idea as to why I think it would help, but I think it might. I know everyone has special close connection to their dogs, and I probably sound like a prick, but Joey had almost mythical properties. He was some kind of special. Thank you, Paul. R.I.P. Joey, pack leader, friend, noble warrior. He died on March 21st, 2025. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, and what a beautiful story. And 11 and a half years of, I feel that. 100% I feel that. And Joey was just as lucky as Paul was. But I gotta say that this just wanted me to bring it up because I didn't want to do anything too crazy tonight. I didn't want to do anything too nutty and get lost in the weeds of politics. We can do that We can do that some other time, and there's always plenty to do, for sure. So 2 or 3 years ago, we had a show on animals that saved our lives. And again, emotional support, totally valid. Did you ever have a dog wake you up in the middle, or a cat or a parakeet wake you up in the middle of a fire or some kind of a dangerous situation, you're fighting off an attacker? It doesn't even have to be a pet, like I said before. It could be like a Deus Ex Machina moment where a bald eagle swoops down and attacks a mountain lion that was about to rip your nuts off. So for the last 30 minutes or so, I just want to be able to encourage some more of that. And thank you again, Paul, for sharing Joey with all of us. It's really a wonderful thing to have had that time with him. Great story, and a lot of people feel for you, no doubt about it. Okay, so let's see here. Here's one for you. Here's a question from CNN that only they would ask. Speaking of pets, adults can sleep with stuffed animals too? It might even be a good thing, experts say. Is this right? Do you think that this is right at all? I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world that somebody can do, but a grown man hugging a teddy bear at night. And I'm not going to judge. It's a little strange. We all have our strange things that we do that comfort us and all that stuff. But if you are an adult that still sleeps with a certain stuffed animal, especially if you're a guy, please call in. Please call in. And I'm going to ask you very serious questions. I just want to hear about it. You can change your name, whatever you want. Don't be ashamed. I want to know about this. Max Jenikov is a doctoral candidate in clinical psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. He's a dad, and he's also a stuffed animal owner. I've always had them growing up. I had a big fantasy life with them as a child. I just think that they're nice things that you have. I used to love stuffed animals. Plush ones, characters, they actually doubled as action figures for me. But I have a really hard time sleeping with something like that. I can never do it. I was able to get used to body pillows. Those were really awesome. But stuffed animals I couldn't do. It might sound unusual, but when you think about it, is it really? Plush sales grew over the COVID-19 pandemic, and in 2024, 21% of plush toys were sold to adults over 18, according to Julie Lennett, U.S. Toys Industry Advisor at Circana, a market research and technology company in Chicago. Stuffed animals struck a chord with young adults and adults as a means to entertain, collect, and provide comfort during the pandemic. And some people have not looked back since. So, is it a pet? Well, it's in the shape of one. But you can give me a call, 914-200-0269. There's plenty of things that I now have put on your plate, in addition to everything else. 914-200-0269. Give me a buzz. There's another one over here. I know I said we can actually save this a little bit for tomorrow at some point, but this is an interesting one about how Trump could be president until 2023. I had a good laugh at that over the weekend, but we'll cover that a little bit more seriously in a little bit. Hold on. Let's take a call. 850, go ahead, Brian.
Hey, happy birthday to you, Frank.
Well, thank you so much. It's good to have you on.
I just had one a couple weeks ago myself.
Happy birthday to you.
I have a funny sleepwalking story from my childhood.
Okay.
And according to my mother, I would get up every night as a child to go to the bathroom, and she could almost set her clock by it, and she'd have to direct me to the toilet because I would choose the hallway wall or the kitchen trash can or something. So she'd always make sure I made it to the toilet to pee. But I joined the Boy Scouts when I was 11, and on my first camping trip, which was to Rhinebeck, New York, we were going to go watch those World War I planes. I grew up in Connecticut. Anyway, this was the last time I slept walk. I woke early in the morning, and all I had was my tighty whities. I was walking on a gravel path around the campground, I was quite a ways from where my tent was. I remember waking up and seeing this guy cooking his breakfast on a Coleman stove. And he's looking at me. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like trying to figure out where I am. And I got urine-soaked briefs on. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm okay."
Oh, my God.
And I stumbled back. I didn't know my way around the campground, so I was a little freaked out by that. But that was the last time I slept walk.
But wait, at that moment you came to, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And how I didn't come to earlier is beyond me, because I was pretty far away from where my troop was camped out. And the only reason we were in a public campground is because we're going there to watch the planes, which we never got to because the weather sucked. And it was kind of chilly and cold and misty, rainy. And I'm walking down this gravel road through how that didn't wake me up, barefoot, mind you. And I was like, I wake up and I'm like, wow, this is weird.
That's very weird.
Again, I'm like about 20 feet from this guy who's cooking his eggs or something on a Coleman stove, and he's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think
Now,
so."
was the guy in the Coleman stove? Was he in any way attached to your troop or whatever the hell, or he was just a stranger also using the campgrounds?
Just a stranger, and I was on like the other side of the campground. I mean, it took me like 20 minutes to find my way back.
And what time in the morning? What time in the morning was this?
It was probably about 6 o'clock in the morning.
And how
the sun
long?
wasn't even up.
How long do you suspect you were out for a stroll at that point?
I would have had to have been probably a good 5 to 10 minutes walking around, not aware of where I was doing or where I was.
I'm trying to put myself not only in your shoes, but also in the shoes of a guy who's there on the campgrounds at 6 o'clock in the morning, having a moment over this little propane stove, and all of a sudden
I'm sorry, I often wonder about that guy as I grew up. He still tells that story.
Oh yeah, the time that the piss-soaked kid showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, gee, I gotta tell you, if I were your parents, I would have. That is something that would have made me a little bit hesitant to send you away for any kind of sleep away anything until I knew that this whole situation was behind you. Because what if you just, what if you were a little bit younger and you got out and you walked a little bit farther into the woods and got completely lost?
Honestly, I don't think my parents thought that far ahead.
Oh, okay.
My mother was just worried about me peeing on the wall. That's all.
Yeah, I know. I guess priorities first, and the wall. We'll make our way outside afterwards.
They loved having me in the Boy Scouts to go on a camping trip because I was able to got me out of the house. Got me, we got rid of one of those rotten kids. It's kind of the way we were. So.
Okay.
But that was a funny sleepwalk story of mine. But that was the last time that I sleptwalked as long as I know.
About what year was that? Can you estimate what year?
I was 11, so that would have been 74.
1974. Well, we got a sleepwalking story from 1974. Thank you, Brian. This was great.
Have a great one.
All right. See? As long as I get one story in each category, I consider it a success. I'd love for it to be like, tidal wave. But let's keep going. 828. Hello.
Frank.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? It's Rob Worth.
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing well. Do you have a sleepwalking story?
No, I got a stuffed animal story.
Okay, go ahead.
So what's your opinion about sleeping with a stuffed animal?
Oh, I mean, I don't care. I don't have one. Like I said, I right now I don't have one. I probably own some old ones, but when I was younger and I had stuffed animals or plush toys or stuff like that, some of them they would stack up in my room and sometimes on the bed. But I would use them as action figures more than sleep things, because they would just make, especially if they're really, really hairy, they would just make me sweat like hell. So, but as far as, I don't know, like I say, it's not particularly disturbing that an adult would have this, but I thought it was an interesting, especially during 2020. I can see how a lot of people were coping in very outside the box ways, but still, it's, I don't know, no judgment, obviously.
Okay, because I have two stuffed animals I sleep with. The one I was born in 1969, and I had a teddy bear that my mom would sew up because I just love the shit out of it, and like the layers of it would just fall off, and she put new patches on it and everything.
Yeah.
So his name is Gaga, and I still have him. And then my daughter, she's Alea, the one that passed.
Mhm.
I have her Pikachu, and I sleep every night with it because it just reminds me of her,
Yeah.
And yeah,
Absolutely. No, you
so
don't have,
there's a reason. I mean, I know probably where you're going, but
Oh no, I wasn't going anywhere. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Listen, the CNN article is going to take the average person and say, okay, well, you're talking about an adult that goes out and buys himself a teddy bear to sleep with.
Fair enough.
That's something where you say, all right, well, but saying emotional attachments and mementos and things like that, I understand. My brother had, I don't know where Anthony's yellow blankie was. Anthony's yellow blanket was, he might have retired it. I hope so, because now I feel bad for his girlfriend, but his yellow blankie looked like a ball of yarn after by the time he was in high school. And it was just one of those things that it was in his bed and all that stuff. He's talked about on the air. I think he's retired it, and I think it's being kept preserved because it literally looks like there's nothing about it that looks like a blanket, or it ever was a blanket. Look, I don't know. In fact, Rob, listen to this story. There was one time in, I think, 1999 or around 2000, probably when we moved, me and my mother and my brother moved into my my grandparents' house, and we were up in our own apartment, and we had our own rooms and all that stuff. But as we moved in, my mother replaced all the carpets and things like that. And one of the people who were taking out all of the old shag carpets from the upstairs room where our bedrooms were to be, they must have thought that Anthony's thing was just a piece of shit, just a rag, and they threw his blanket into these rolled up strips of carpet. And when we so he started freaking out. Well, like, where the hell is it? It was like a 5-alarm fire. This was back in like 99 or so. A 5-alarm fire, and we when we put 2 and 2 together of what could have happened, it was like at night, flashlights, unrolling every strip of old carpet, and lo and behold, there it was. Aww. And it was a rescue mission that came out all right. So that thing was saved from certain doom a couple of times.
Does he still have it, or?
Yeah, I got to tell him to take a picture of it, because like I said, I think it's just preserved somewhere. He told me that he retired sleeping with it a long time ago, just as it's a liability. It's falling apart. It's there's no way to it's like taking out one of those precious founding documents. If it's not in a certain kind of humidity, it turns into like a fall, one of those crackled fall leaves.
Yeah.
But that's no, I totally get where you're coming from, especially with the Pikachu and with your patch job teddy. I'd like to see a picture of the teddy if you don't mind. I won't put it on air, but send it to me. I want to see your mom. I want to see your mom's patchwork.
Yeah, I have your email. I'll snap a picture, and you can show it on you can show it on whatever. I had a neighbor that actually she's into knitting, and she actually made a coat for it because he was falling apart, and I can't sew shit, right? So but she made a nice little like coat for it. So I wanted her to do the head because the head's still kind of falling apart a little bit. But yeah, my mom, she used to sew buttons on for her nose, and then like these. Do you remember those little like not a cotton ball, but it looked like a little ball? She would sew that on, and I don't know. it's pretty rough looking, but I'll take a picture and email it to you. And if you want to show it online, that's fine. It's pretty unique looking.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see it, because I know how these things can look over the course of years of emergency, surgery so that a kid can maintain his or her sanity. So I know how those things end up looking. So send it my way. I'd love to see it. And thanks for the call, Rob. And all the best to you as always.
All right, you too. You
All
take care.
Take care.
Okay.
Take care. Let's see. Couple more. 803. Go ahead, 803.
Hey, Frank, it's Gina from South Carolina. How are you?
Gina, good to hear from you. I'm doing well. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I had a story about a dog, a rescue. It actually happened, I think it was about a week ago. One of my friends in Augusta, Georgia, it was his sister, and she's pregnant, and she had her preschooler with her. She had taken the other kids to school, and she came back home with the preschooler and was taking a nap. And the dog, their dog was barking just relentlessly until he woke her up, and the house was on fire.
Wow.
And he was able to grab her daughter, who was also taking a nap, but the dog didn't survive, sadly. But anyway,
The dog gave its life for the
stuck
family,
it out.
but all the humans in the house survived.
Yeah, there was only two, but she was pregnant, so I guess three technically. And the other, I guess the husband was at work, and then the other kids were at school. But yeah, the dog didn't survive. So anyway, very sad that the dog died, but how wonderful that he did sacrifice himself to save them.
The sacrifice was incredible. Yeah, I love those stories, and that's something they'll be able to talk about, and it's something that, as horrible it is to lose a pet, especially in that way. That's something that they're always going to be grateful. It'll be bittersweet because it's always going to be grateful. The last act of love from the pet was saving your life. So that's a great story.
Yeah, it's a good one. I guess if anybody's in Georgia and Augusta, Georgia area, you probably can find their GoFundMe. I think the Augusta Chronicle probably covered their story. So if anybody wants to help the family, that would be wonderful too.
Well, thank you for the call, and I'm sure somebody's going to go searching for it. Thank you, Gina.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Speaking of Anthony, this was funny. I got a little stack of birthday cards over here. This was hilarious. So I got this one last night, brother. Okay? Now, it's been a long time since I laughed out loud from a card. But here's Anthony's inscription. Dear Frank, CNN called. They want to do a story on the gayest man in the world turning 40. Now, what does that mean? This is hilarious because I had this in my notes in case I needed some backup stuff, or if I just wanted things to find segues, or if I just wanted some triggers for me whenever we were together, me, Anthony, and Mike, back in February when we did our Zadals in New York night on Saturday in February. And what I would do to Anthony, and I remember the first couple of times, so like he got serious about it. He thought I was saying something serious. So I knocked on the door. I said, Aunt. And I was very serious. He said, yeah. I said, listen, CNN's on the phone. And he's like, ruffled his brow. What? Like, why is the news calling? I said, CNN's on the phone. They want to talk to you. And now he's starting to get, and he, cause the first time I told him this, he was like in 8th grade. And he's wondering like what he did, and like, is there something happening at school or whatever. CNN's on the phone. They want to talk to you. They're doing a story on the gayest person on earth, and they heard about you. And as I'm getting on this, he just got so mad. He got so mad. So insanely mad. And then I would pick my times over the years where I'd find a way to just get serious. Say, Aunt, listen. It would get to the point where I'd say, listen, I know you're not going to believe me. And at that point that's where he would eventually just say, oh, shut the fuck up. But I would preface it with, listen, I know this sounds crazy, but CNN's on the phone, and you get pissed again. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here! They're on the phone. You're gay. You're gay." That's the best. Oh, I love that. To the point where you don't even have to say the joke anymore. You don't even have to say the joke anymore. All you got to say is, now listen, you got to believe me. It's over. Anyway, that was so nice to read in that. It was so nice to read in this card. Dear Frank, CNN called. They want to do a story on the gayest man in the world turning 40 years old. Oh, that was great. Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I guess one more call, shall we? 504, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, let me get it off the speakerphone, okay?
You again.
Hey, Frank.
Who is this? Who is this?
It's an animal story, and it's pretty horrific, but this was like...
Who is this?
30 years ago, my niece had 2 adorable kittens.
Wait, who is this? Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Yeah. Oh, this is I used to be physical graffiti, but it's Royal Orleans now.
Oh, I remember physical graffiti.
Yeah. Well, after Albert passed, I decided to change my ways. But anyway, this is a horrible story. Y'all talking about animals, how they save you and everything. This was like 30 years ago, and my niece had 2 adorable kittens, and they went missing like for a day or two. And so she was doing laundry, and this is so bad, Frank, okay. So she unloads the dryer, and guess where they were?
Oh, well, what's it? Well, wait a second. I didn't want you to just call up and ruin everybody's night. They're supposed to be like, how did these kittens say? Like, come on, there's got to be like.
No, because obviously, the dryer door was open, and they had gone in there to go to sleep, whatever, and she put her clothes in there to dry, and like 2 days later. She goes in there to get her laundry out. She's like, "Oh my God!"
But all right, well then, but this was supposed to be how. Well, I guess it happens. It's terrible, but we wanted to hear some kind of a happy ending. I mean, the last caller.
I know. Look, I'm a shit disturber from way back, so I just thought I'd throw that in.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Okay, there you go, everybody. So 2 kittens died in a dryer one time. And I hope you have a good night. Anyway, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's see. I have, I don't know. That was going to be my last one. Wait, one word about grown men sleeping with a stuffed animal. This is from Jay Britz. Just came in. He said gay. Well, not always. Not always, as we were talking about with Rob. But if you go to Target tomorrow because you just need something to squeeze, then there's something weird going on there. Okay, get yourself a body pillow, put it between your knees, and call it a night. I don't know. I just need something to squeeze. Going to KB Toys. They don't even have KB Toys anymore. What a teddy. I want a purple one. That's weird. But yeah, there's no excuse for that. Let's see. Let's go over to Rumble again. See some stuff popping off over there. Grimbold72 says, you should have a Quite Frankly tumbler made. I'm always on the go and never drink out of a mug. Quite Frankly tumbler. I should ask Paige about that. If she has a hookup for that, and we can just put 2 types of things there. Because I have this Contigo. It's called this Contigo. Like it's a double-walled thermos that is so damn good. if it's whether you put hot or cold in there, it's staying hot or cold for many hours. The ice is still jingling around in there 6 hours later. It's incredible. I would love to have one like that made for Quite Frankly. You're right, Grimbold. Thank you. And let's see here. I ain't going to call on this, but I sleep with a couple of narwhal stuffies my kids gave me. Now I can't not sleep with them. I do not snuggle them. Grimbold, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Mementos, things like that. I mean, look, I carry on any given night of the week, I carry either a carrot or a pumpkin or a squash to the studio because that's my lantern through the woods. If Aurora told me to keep that by my bedside, I would do it. No two ways about it. I'm not saying no to her. And then it would just be one of those things that I cling to for all the years afterwards that she's no longer asking me to do those things. I got to stop talking about this right now. Grandma Grateful says, happy birthday, Frank. Thanks. Not very happy right now, but I did that to myself. Let's see. Sentinel said, I didn't want to feel that way myself. It was a defensive mechanism for me that I didn't understand at the time. Oh, wait, I lost my desire to sleep with my stuffed animals, he said, after I had to read The Velveteen Rabbit in school. I felt so much for the character losing her bunny that I didn't want to feel that way myself. So it was a defense mechanism. I know what you mean. That's why as much as I want a dog, as much as I know a dog would be amazing for Aurora, especially if she just for some responsibility and added companionship. I'd love, other things to happen too, but dogs are fantastic. But, you've got, if you're lucky, 10 solid years with them, and then you are about to have the rib separators come in and open you up. Smeeze says, I love the silly loosey-goosey Frank. Happy birthday, my friend. Yeah, I wanted to do that tonight. I had to. It's actually calmed my stomach down a little bit. I have a little bit of a tension headache. I'm kind of tired, but I only got about an hour left. We'll do good with this last episode of the book club, and then hopefully I'll get to bed a little bit early tonight. I just got to drink a couple more liters of water. I think that's going to help too. Let's see. Stephen and Lori says, happy birthday, Frank, and RIP to those poor kitties. Yes. Yes to them all. Rest in peace to them all. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we were not going to be doing anything tonight, and I think we did a lot. The fact that we were not going to have a show, and now we did this, I think let's be happy with it. I'm going to get off. I'm going to get myself situated here for book club a little bit earlier. Give me a couple more minutes to decompress, drink a little bit, chill out. And I can't wait to see you all again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock from Studio A, surrounded by Lauren, Aurora, and whatever else. It should be a good night on April 1st. And we'll talk more about your stuff. We'll talk more about your April 1st stories, and I'll find some other things. I have a couple of good threads that we can get to that I think it's going to get people contributing to the show a little bit more. And there we have it. So thank you guys for your company, and I will talk to you soon. And that is that. Thank you for a wonderful March. Turn that page.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Jay Brits and ending with Jay Brits. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you to everybody over there on Rumble who's hanging out. Grimbold72, Grandma Grateful. Let's see here. Tommy Jekyll and Jay Semo. You guys been great. I'm releasing all of the scratch-ins over on quitefrankly.tv. Powered by Pilled. Thank you, Delona, who just sent a cookie. I slept with a stuffed animal until I had my first child when I was 30. There you have it. There you have it. More tomorrow. Good night.
on storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Goodbye.